Members of the European Parliament, friends. I am Jan Willem from Belgium, and I'd like to tell you about the World Youth Forum on Ethics in Business. As many of the speakers today have suggested, the only way to really have an impact is to formulate a number of direct practical actions to be taken in the short to middle term. I can assure you, no group of people is more aware of this than the younger generation, as it is us who will need to implement these changes. Mr. Dosal this afternoon repeated the stereotype that we should be the lost generation. This always hurts us a little bit. But we were happy to see that he immediately suggested that we should put up a charter and an action plan to involve us in these decisions, to involve us in this world plan. Well, I think the saying goes something like, be careful what you wish for. There we are. We respect all of you way too much to call you old, but we would like to say keep up with the program, please. The World Youth Forum on Ethics in Business, or WYFEB for short, is a global initiative that originated from the regular World Forum on Ethics in Business. The WYFEB is a platform to annually bring together passionate people under 35 from all over the world and out of different sectors to reflect on those moral principles that govern personal and group behavior, and on how those principles can help the leaders of tomorrow find a righteous and sustainable path in every situation. The Youth Forum focuses on the interdisciplinary themes common to the fields of business, ethics, and humanity, such as company values, business psychology, and most of all, self-awareness. It identifies the core values which the business wishes to be committed to and to be held accountable to. These values are, according to us, responsibility, integrity, honesty, respect, trust, cooperation, openness, fairness, and transparency. By creating sensibility to the differences in spiritual and moral backgrounds of the participants, the forum wants to spread human values, personal freedom, and most of all, connectedness. We believe that true ethical leadership means to be in service of developing the potential of others. Therefore, the platform offers training on how to solve ethical dilemmas in order to develop and strengthen the skills and capacities of the youth, in order to practice strong transformative leadership, and in order to shape the world of tomorrow. Thank you very much. I would now like to invite you to listen to this year's results of a week full of seminars, reflection, and cooperation, most of all. Please turn your attention to my friends Krishan from India, Angina from the Netherlands, Derek from Canada, Neil from Canada, Catalina from the Netherlands, and Julie from Mauritius, Nibo from South Africa, and Sarah from Germany. Thank you.
Hello, Adab, Namaste, Bonjour, Guten Tag. We would like to take this opportunity to thank the generation sitting in front of us for the computer, the mobile phone, and many more inventions that have made life simple. Ladies and gentlemen, I must admit that I can't imagine my life without my iPhone. And I'm sure nor can any of you, because of what I saw was the iPhone was being used as a timer just a couple of hours ago. But it would be great if you could tell us, how many jobs has that created in the Western Hemisphere? Not many, because God made man and everything else is made in China. even our iPhones. Today, we are sitting on trillions of dollars of debt that no one knows how to pay back, because this generation has had it all on a platter. Unlike those who fought the war, post the Second World War II, and went through the hardships of life and realized how hard they had worked to gain an identity, and they really valued what they got, something we feel that is lacking today. What worries us today is the definition of world leadership seems terribly archaic, redolent of James Bond movies. After all, what constitutes a world leader? If it's military strength, China has the largest army in the world. If it's the economy, the United States has the highest GDP in the world. If it's economic debt, then Greece, of course. But somehow, none of that adds up to us, to what a world leader should be able to contribute in this part of the 21st century.
This all leads us to the ethical challenge we face today, combating and overcoming corruption in business and political affairs is one of the most important issues that we are confronted with. That corruption exists is a fact, but are we ready to accept the existence of it and recognize that it's spreading? In our increasingly intertwined global economy, it is even more important to acknowledge the fact that this world is contaminated with pure greed, materialism, and with corruption that it brings along. It is time for us to have a thorough cleanup. We, the leaders of tomorrow, expect you, the leaders of today, to start this by bringing in transparency in politics and in business. This would mean the removal of regulation that infringe upon or inhibit the ability to behave ethically. We shouldn't empty the pockets of others for the rest of their lives just to fill our pocket for a day. But in all of this, let's not forget to create self-awareness and belongingness, because a change of mindset is the beginning and the key in our fight against corruption. It all starts with ourselves.
However, the world is not all that bad. We're at the cusp of a new era, the digital era. We've only realized less than 1% of the internet's potential thus far. Like a frontier, the opportunities will be boundless. This will not be the first frontier we will have conquered. However, this is our chance to utilize the lessons learned from the aftermath of those of the past. We cannot afford to be reactive to the threats that await us. Instead, we need to be proactive. Act now, shed our fear, take charge, and lead the way. Collectively, we have seen catastrophes of human natures unchecked, laws that deny accountability. This is a chance for us as leaders to redefine the future of humanity with values that defend equal opportunity, support sustainability and transparency. And in order to accomplish this, we need to begin defining laws and codes of conduct that promote these values. We need to be representatives that are trustworthy, and we need to be representatives we can be proud of.
For example, one source of pride is green technology. Today, we're moving towards a time commonly referred to as the green era. The focus of this era is creating and maintaining a healthy and sustainable natural environment. In terms of the consumer market, this means developing products that reduce our ecological footprint. Several companies have been successful in getting the general public to sample, utilize, and eventually purchase these green products. The consumer marketplace is also redeveloping existing products so they become more environmentally sustainable. This includes increased usage of biodegradable and recycled materials. And there is good news. A considerable number of consumers are willing and eager to purchase green goods and services, even if there is a markup of up to 10%. So what does this mean? Well, we can reinvest this money earned from markups to fund ways to further protect our environment, so it's a win-win situation. It's our responsibility as the leaders of today and as the leaders of tomorrow, to ensure these innovative products are available, accessible, and appreciated. Humanity, that is, people of all generations, creeds, nationalities, must come together. We must move away from our current norm of individualism and overconsumption to embrace the existing upcoming green era.
My friend Christian already mentioned, but when we look back at post-World War II era, we see a society that gained common identity and valued what they got. They had to. They were in a survival mode. But it was a success, so much even that they could produce and obtain everything that they wanted, and much more than that. At the same time, we saw evolution of common goal to more individual motives, to such extent that gaining personal wealth was the highest ambition. Result, these days, we are disconnected with our own values. Not a world where people matter, where we take time to self-reflect and find our intrinsic motivation, which is our compass of where we need to go. It can be so beautiful. We can be a polyphonic choir where everyone has his own voice, and together we make such beautiful music. We can choose to close our eyes and pretend that this world doesn't exist. We can also choose to open our eyes and start seeing this world. We will probably discover that the world will actually turn into the picture we had in our minds. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we're sure this behavior will reflect on people, just like a mirror. It will be a lonely and long journey on my own, but luckily I have here already 5 friends besides me and 12 behind me that will support me. I met them just 4 days ago, coming from 5 continents and 11 nationalities. I do know that they will join me in this journey till the end. And we wonder, what will the future beckon for us? It could be something aligned with this, power of example, the soft power, because we feel responsible, which we show you in our action plan presented next. But there's one thing which matters to us, and it's leading by being the example, by being the change we want to see. It's time to step up.
When we participants of the WYFEB 2012 first gathered last Monday, we had at least 2 common questions. First, what is an ethical business? Second, what makes an ethical business? You will all agree with us that no business is an isolated entity, but a node within a network of other entities. This raises the question, do ethical issues concern only the external contractual relationships, or do they pervade every layers within the organization? During the past 4 days, we have learned that corruption can be overcome by a deep sense of interconnectedness or belongingness. Also, that it is each individual's conscious choice to adhere to ethical conduct and contribute towards a high-value business. We have been inspired to contribute to the much-needed inside-out transformation. As representative of the youth, we envision the WYFEB as an umbrella organization for student organizations across the globe. Members will be requested to take the WYFEB Oath of Ethics. Second, we envision the WYFEB as a partner organization to help entities, private, public, and non-governmental, to improve their ethical competence in a sustainable manner. I'll now pass on the floor to Nepo, who will elaborate on our call for action.
Thank you, Martina. Our main goal as the youth is to create an awareness amongst the other youth of the ethical culture that we want. We want to convince young people that ethical leadership is the only way that we can create a sustainable future. Our second objective is to empower young people by giving them the responsibility to promote ethical leadership within their own communities and regions. We also intend on opening regional WYFEBs, as well as train-the-trainee sessions in 2013. Okay. Thirdly, we'd like potential job seekers as well as young people to have an unbiased view on the ethical rating of their potential employers. We would also like the potential employers to have an ethical standard in which they can assess their ethical rating. We call upon your expertise to set up an ethics evaluation committee in order to assist us in our objectives. We are also looking for your professional as well as personal contribution in order to host our webinars as well as our local events, such as we would like to have a TEDx session with, it was mentioned earlier, but we also like to have a TEDx section with leaders who would be able to contribute to our seminars. Thank you.
This morning, Sanjay introduced this symposium to us all, and he pointed out that there is a strong need for a clear paradigm change for action. And also, Nadir Deva hinted towards less blah blah, but more action. And since we have been really inspired and empowered over the last 4 days, we want to walk the talk and turn this inspiration into action. We plan to take few initiatives to realize our visions and commit ourselves to concrete actions throughout the next year. So it seems we are just in line with what you are calling for. Besides spreading out WYFEBs across the globe, we will organize ethics workshops in universities and corporations. By the end of 2013, we will have collected 1,000 oaths for ethics each. And to stay connected socially, exchange, and make our collective ethical actions more visible, we will be launching our own Facebook page, of course. And besides this, a new website is already in process, where we all, and all of you, can share our views and actions on ethics and business. We, the youth, are change makers and trendsetters. We will part of the change.